Introduce the dragon! Welcome back to Diesel Dragon Garage. So today, we are back on the Vette, and there has been some progress. I did not record any of this because I wanted to get it done and time was a factor. So what I discovered, the intake that was originally, well, I guess not originally on here, but the intake that was on here before was for a Rochester carburetor. It had a spacer on it, or an adapter, to an Edelbrock carburetor. That spacer slash adapter was not correct. It was letting in a huge amount of vacuum, causing all kinds of rough idling, and just wasn't running right. Took it all apart, found out the issue, tried to find a correct adapter, almost impossible to find. And even the one that is possibly correct for it, I read the reviews and it was pretty much hit or miss. So the next best option was to actually get an intake for the Edelbrock carburetor, which I did. And I got the one with the fuel tube because it's a 283 with no holes in the valve covers. I mean, I didn't want to put a brand new intake on an old crappy looking engine. So I went ahead, took a wire wheel to the valve covers, painted them, and they look fantastic. And since I had the paint out, I went ahead and did the exhaust manifolds as well. And little spots here and there. Master cylinder, you know, it just kind of went crazy with the paint that was already out. Kind of make the engine bay look a little bit better. I mean, it's still dirty over here and stuff, but the engine itself looks good. And the spots around the engine look good. And since I went with the new intake as well, I had a carburetor on the shelf, so put a new carburetor in there. Had an HEI on the shelf, so I went ahead and did the HEI conversion. Had the breather on the shelf, so put that in there. I mean, all this stuff has been sitting on my shelf for a long time, and now it's getting used. But today we are doing the headlight. Now I already have the headlight motors out, so I can just turn that by hand. These have been in here for who knows how long. They're the halogen type headlights. They don't work. Could be a loose connection, probably a burnout bulb. Both sides. This is not a paid promotion, by the way. I do know I want to go LED. I have experience with the cheap LED headlights already. Did not want to go that route again. So I put out some money and I bought these from Holley. These retro bright high performance LED headlights. These are the 5-inch. I needed 4 of them. This cost about $800. Yeah, about 200 bucks a piece. Not cheap, but I've dealt with cheap and I don't want to deal with cheap again. But I do want some good headlights because I've also dealt with old headlights that barely light up the road and you barely see in front of you. So I went all out on the headlights. I mean, it's a Vette. It's got to have some good stuff on it. So for this video, I mean, this is not technically a how-to, but I don't really do how-tos on this channel. I mean, it's more for entertainment and showing my projects as I go. But I will kind of show step-by-step, sort of. If I miss something, don't kill me. Again, this is not a how-to. It's just process I'm going. Now, I already have the headlight motors out. So like I said, I can turn these by hand, but it don't have the headlight motors out. Here's the headlight motor. It sits in right in there. One on each side, and it sits in there like this. Right here is this little knob that you can turn, and of course I got the one that's locked up that you can't turn. So let me find the other one. So here is the one that I can turn. So if you have the headlight motors in there, you can turn this little knob right here, and it will take a lot of turns, but eventually you can open up your headlights manually with this knob. And I mean a lot of turns. It will feel like you're not doing anything, but you really are. If it's turning, it's doing something. But I already got them out because I'm replacing them with the Detroit Speed conversion. If anything Vette related people want an arm and a leg for, it's crazy. An aftermarket wiring harness is $1,200 for this car. I bought a 27 circuit wiring harness for that Suburban for 600 bucks. It makes no sense. Everything about this car is expensive just because it's a Vette. Not because it costs more to make those parts, just because it has the label Corvette. That's the only reason. It's ridiculous. But rant over, let's get to what I was doing. So change these out. I'll start on the driver's side here. Of course, you'll need it flipped up. And on each side, you'll notice Phillips screw. We'll take those out and this plate will come off. One right here that is missing and one right here. And these two are on the bottom. And then the plate comes right off. All right, so now you got access to the screws that hold the headlights on. You'll notice right here, you got 2 screws. This one on the right is your adjustment. You don't need to mess with that unless you're actually adjusting your headlights. The one on the left, as you can see that little tab, is actually holding the lights on. And you're gonna have one right here. This one is missing, but there would be normally a screw right there on that tab. And you would have one right here that is also missing. As you can see here on this headlight, the screw is there and the screw is there on that one as well. Again, don't touch these adjusters unless you actually need to adjust your headlights. Otherwise, you're gonna be messing with your adjustment and your headlight is not gonna be shining down the road like it needs to be. All right, that is off. Now you notice my trimming is still hanging here. That is because there is a spring right here on the headlight trim holding it in place. So if it comes all the way off, you want to make sure you get that spring back on there properly. I'm just going to let it sit right here and not worry about it at the moment. Just unplugs. And this one was actually unplugged for some reason. All right, so here is the new headlight. It says Holley right there in the center. It is LED, of course. And it has this pigtail on the end of it, plug in. It also comes with these adapters. So if you're going from a 3-prong, you can repin it to a 2-prong. So when you got your headlights exposed, make sure you read the instructions for these headlights and also correspond them to your wiring diagram for your particular car. Because chances are you might need these. Otherwise, you might spend hours trying to troubleshoot an issue with the wiring that was never really an issue to begin with. It was just you hooking it up wrong. Don't ask me how I know. So here are the instructions. And on the instructions, it says on these connectors, for this headlight, your low beam is this top connector right here. Your high beam is this connector, and this is your ground. Now on my particular car, that is not how it's wired up. On this car, I'll start with this 3 connector one here. I have the light green, which is my low beams on the left side. My high beam, which is the tan wire, is on the top, and the ground is on the right. So I got to use this along with this little black piece to repin it. So this blue wire needs to be my low beam. So I'll take this blue wire, which is right here, and I'll hook it up to the left side, which is the low beam. The red wire, the high beam, which on my car is the top, so I'll hook that up to the top here. And then the ground goes to the right side. There we go. So now I can plug this in here, and then I can plug this into here as normal. Now for this side, I don't have a high beam, so this one's gonna be a little bit different. Now I could wire it high beam, which I probably will eventually do, but for right now, I just wanna get them working. So I'm gonna have to use this piece again, and on this one, my low beam is on the right side. I guess I can make it left, it don't matter. Right now, it's on the right side, and the ground is on the left, no high beam. So again, on this pigtail, the low beam is the blue wire. So I will grab my little adapter, and since here, I'll make it consistent. Make the low beam on the left side, so blue wire left side, there we go, and the ground wire on the right side. And then I just won't use the red because there's nothing for it to plug into. And connect those in there, and just leave the red hanging. Then I can plug this in as normal, and there we go. Now I will push this in there and bolt it back in. Last thing you're going to want to do is put your cover back on. And that's as simple as just sliding it into place and screwing your screws back in. Okay. All right. Done. All done. Here's the headlights off, headlights on, and brights on. We're all set. That's gonna do it for this video. Don't forget to hit that like button. Slam that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Leave some comments down below. My videos have been kind of lacking the comments, so shoot me something. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch y'all next time.